All the meetings.
This meeting is being recorded. I will now call the meeting to order at 4:33. First order of business is I would like to have the minutes of the past meeting, May meeting, approved.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we have to take a look at the RFP that we're going to put out here.
So we turn it over to Mr. Davison to go
Sure.
through the.
Yes, please.
RFP.
Great. So the last time that we talked about having an RFP, then COVID struck and then everything was put on hold. There have been several changes to chapter 30B, and I did speak with town council, and and after conferring with town council, I think I've found something that will work for you and to ensure that we comply with chapter 30B. The scope of services, which you all crafted, will be the scope of services that are released when the bid goes out, which that date will be decided upon your availability. One of the things in an RFP process is, and I did get guidance, is that this is not exempt, even though there are trust funds. The fact is that it's public entity that's taking the action, so it's not exempt from complying with 30B. But what the RFP process involves is companies can submit their proposals, what's called a technical proposal, without the knowledge with their compensation or their bid price in a separate sealed envelope, which is not to be viewed until a rating of the technical aspects, basically the quality of the services that they're providing, have been rated to determine the most advantageous of the proposals. Once those are rated, then the prices would be opened. And I, as the chief procurement officer, wanted to have where if the highest rated firm has the lowest cost, that's easy. We can just make the award of the contract to that firm. However, if the firm is not the lowest cost, but there were other attributes, experience, knowledge, the services being delivered were such that it was worth paying more for, I can make that determination. And of course, that determination would come from the input that I received from the board of the investment, the financial advisory firm. Now, to meet with the firms, they have to be done not in public, because it requires that all the information, in order to not to give an unfair advantage to those who would not have yet made their presentations, that all the information must remain confidential until the time of award is made, is to be made. The public meeting law does allow the board to go into executive session for very specific purposes. None of them would be applicable to this board. It has to do with collective bargaining purposes. It would have to do with negotiations or litigation. It has to do with character of an individual, certain very limited frame. But there is one provision within the executive session, which says that a board may go into executive session if it is necessary to comply with another statute. And the statute is under chapter 30B that requires interviews and review of the technical proposals to be done confidentially. And I asked town council, well, would that be an appropriate reason for the board to go into executive session so it can meet with the the bidders. And after reviewing the rationale that I explained about this Chapter 30B requirement that confidential, town council concurred that the board could move into an executive session. Of course, minutes would be taken. And after the process is completed and award recommendation is being made, then the minutes of those interviews would immediately be released, and the public would be able to see the boards would be able to see how the board came about in terms of its recommendations. So that didn't seem to be available to us before, and of course that was understandably one of the issues the board was thinking is, well, how can we have an opportunity to rate the firms if only one of us can participate? Because if two of you participate, it would be subject to the public meeting because two would be. But now that is not an issue. So with that, that makes it possible for us to have you all participate in meeting with the firms.
Are we required to interview all of the firms who submit proposals?
The answer is yes. That's by the Inspector General, that unless they don't meet a minimum requirement, and the answer is yes. You have to interview them all.
Can we just do that over the phone?
Well, the beauty of it is we can do it now because we're all a little more sophisticated and understand. I do a lot of my bidder interviews via Zoom.
Okay.
May we do it over Zoom meetings?
Yep, we can do it over a Zoom meeting. It wouldn't
And
be.
that's not a public meeting, because as you mentioned, that's a session that's specifically not.
That's correct. Actually, how I would envision it happening is that the day that we would interview the bidders, the board would convene an open session, and there would be a motion to move into executive session. I would have the proper wording of the motion for you all to have and to take that vote. Once you move into executive session, not to reconvene the private session, the meeting would end. And we would end the recording and such, and then we would move into a different Zoom session in which I would pull in the bidders as each bidder comes up to come and make a presentation.
The reason why I mentioned that is the last time we went out for bid, we had about 16 people who did, and we did interview them all.
Yeah.
Time, and it was quite an ordeal. We gave them 20 minutes each, which is not what they like to hear.
No, but I was thinking 15. I mean, if we had 16 people, that's gonna be over 3 hours.
We'll see how many.
I don't know how we did it, but we did it very efficiently.
And what I would recommend is rather than doing it all one day, that we would lay out. I would lay out the
Yeah, we did
RFP
it over a couple of days.
and do it over a couple of days.
So,
And 20 minutes, I think, is more than reasonable. I mean, you're all knowledgeable from your standpoint as commissioner of the trust funds and for some professional experience. And so it's not a learning curve of what the services they're offering. So and they should quite clearly know and be able to deliver what it is that the services are providing. And quite frankly, giving a clarification to questions that you may have as a result of their written material that they provided to us to review beforehand.
I'm thinking about the fee stuff. So, like, theoretically, someone could submit a proposal, and so maybe we can change the spec. Someone could submit a proposal, bid 1.5%. I don't think there's any chance we would hire that firm at 1.5%, just to use kind of an extreme example.
Right. Understood.
So could we put some maximum fee in the RFP?
Yes, there could be we can state that there is a not to exceed limit in terms of the bid price. That is allowed. I tend not to do that because I find what happens, is then they all bid that price.
But
The fact is you can't.
But the offset of that is, we could be interviewing a dozen firms we would never hire because their price is too high, but we would never know it, it sounds like. Because I think you said we can't.
So
set
we
fees.
won't know the prices until
And
after.
I'm not too concerned about that, because when people know that it's a governmental organization, they know that fees are significant part of a proposal,
Okay.
and they wouldn't dare.
They know they're gonna be in tough competition. Anyone who applies for this. But to address part of my question, the other part I had was investment managers, they have many ways that they tell you about themselves, but a big one is typically their sort of monthly or quarterly, whatever track record of performance, which is usually shown net of fees at some rate. So if we truly want to do this correctly, it sounds like we need to ask in the RFP for all returns we've shown gross of fees.
Yeah, given that we're not supposed to take into account the fee.
Right, it's like most managers will have sort of a standard fact sheet that has a track record and it's shown net of some blended average fee rate that their clients.
But that they could show you, they certainly can show you their past history and stuff without knowing what their fee structure is going to be in terms of their proposal. They can show what their history has been, because I'm certain they probably have different fee structures for different clients. And they would be talking about what they've delivered on average in terms of their suggested investment mix and such. And that is not disclosing what the price is that they would be charging. What their price proposal would be
In the
specifically. or
RFP,
service.
can we say that we expect whatever fee you propose, we expect it to be a favored nation type fee schedule?
I forget, in the RFP, did we ask for a performance net of fees? Do you remember?
I don't think we
I don't
did.
think we did. I think
And I don't think I mentioned,
We probably should specify either net or gross, so we're comparing apples to apples.
so we should say gross,
Gross, yeah, it
Gross,
would have
and
to
then
be gross
say,
if you try.
fees presented must be according to the favored nation policy.
Well, you would ask what the rate of return has been net of fees, so they wouldn't show you the gross, so they're showing that they had a 7.3% return. Whether they're having a markup of 0.1% or 0.5% or 1.5%, that's just going to be the one marked up. You won't know what their gross return was, and quite frankly, you're only concerned about what is the revenue that's being generated for the trust. So, so you would be focusing on what their actual rate of return has been.
I guess if we did net, that would increase the likelihood that we would choose the lowest cost provider.
I think if you're being intellectually honest, and supposed to keep the fees separate, then you should look at the track records,
Gross.
gross of fees, and I suspect most of them will be in the same range. And I assume there's also room here for negotiation, like if someone comes, if we go back to someone and say, you know, you're 0.25% higher than what we would like, but we would like to hire you, like we can go back to them, I assume, and say, can you do this for? a lower
Unless they're
fee?"
the lowest price to begin with, you're not allowed to do that in terms of fair competition, because you can orchestrate a contract to a particular vendor. So that's why it's specific to.
I think we just
All right,
say
well, then,
that-
then we need to back up here, because that seems like it's gonna cost us some dollars.
The other alternative is just not to do an RFP and just do what's known as an IFB, an invitation to bid. Assuming that the services are gonna be comparable, you're just awarding the contract to the firm that has the lowest cost.
I don't think we want to do that.
Yes, I didn't think because what they're offering to you could be significantly different.
Yeah, it's not really a commoditized type of. It's a highly specialized type of contract.
Yeah.
Type of work. If we look at the gross fees, we interview the managers, we find the one we like best, and then we find out that for this type of return, they were charging their clients 1% per year, which now suddenly makes them not our.
But. here's
That's
the
what I was
thing.
saying, if we do net, it's more likely we're gonna choose one of the lower costs.
If I-
Net of the fee that you're proposing to us, or net
Well,
of
it has
a
to be, right?
hypothetical?
I think it has to be
fee
net of
that's
the
gonna
fee
be-
they're proposing.
If I recall, in the RFP, we indicated to them that they must have done business with a comparable municipal operation. I believe that's in there. If we have that in there and they've done business with another municipality, then if we tell them they are required to provide us a guarantee that we are a favored nation, we have the favored nation clause committed, then we don't have to worry about the fees. Because we're gonna get the lowest, we're gonna get the fee that the other municipality was willing to pay because it'll be the lowest fee that they have.
You're likely to receive competitive fees. One of the advantages of making that requirement, that they have experience with municipal entities of a size of Needham or larger, is that will shrink the number of
Participants.
well, not number that you would have to interview. Because if they haven't, certainly an entity that serves the city of New York is not going to understand how a client, a size of 30,000 people and the portfolio of the size that we have, they probably won't be able to work with it. So you want an entity that not only understands municipal government, but municipal government of the size of Needham, in the portfolio of the size of Needham. So you'll be having entities that will be better structured to provide the services you're seeking. And two, understands what their maximum fee structures could be. That's my sense of the industry.
Okay.
Now, I had sent, and I didn't bring it, and I emailed everybody with the timeline. You know that name?
That can bring it up.
As far as the, David and I had gone over. And it is throughout the summer, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should hold off and do interviews in the fall.
That we can do.
No, it was supposed to go in early July, mid-July. And it was supposed to be returned by.
Yeah, I mean,
by
you're doing
September and
interviews
we
through-
interview in October.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing interviews through the summer and, you know, I mean, you don't normally meet during the summer. That was my only question. and concern. I mean, it's up to you what you want to do.
Yeah, nothing is required to follow that. I just want you to have something from which to work from, but the whole purpose of today is to know your availability, and then we'll adjust the calendar accordingly.
Do you know when you sent it roughly?
When did we meet, Dave? Do you remember?
You met last week.
It's about two weeks.
I can run up and get my calendar.
May I ask a question while you're looking?
Sure.
Would this contract be open-ended in terms of time, or is it for a specific time period?
We have to review contracts every 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's the most allowed under the law unless a legislative body has voted a greater period of time in for these types of services. they don't have one. So it would be a maximum of 3 years. But 3 years from the time that the services are executed. So it's not inclusive of the time it takes to hire somebody.
Okay.
And I would presume that may influence who might also submit a proposal if they know that it's a maximum of 3-year term. Some entities are just not interested in such a short term, such a short-term contract.
But we don't have to do another RFP after 3 years. We just have to review.
Oh, no. Every 3 years you would have to do.
I thought we figured out a way that we did not have to do that. No?
The only way that you would not have to do it is if the services were free or the cost of the services are less than $10,000 a year. If they're less than $10,000 a year, then it's you're following what's known as sound business practices. Is what would a reasonable person do in terms of entering into an agreement? I would anticipate that if the cost is more than 10,000.
But once we do this one, future ones will be relatively, let's say, routine, but close to routine.
Yes, all three of you would have been through it, so you know what to expect. The only thing that would make it non-routine is this,
Oh,
as what happens is someone drops off and then a new person comes on board.
that's probably gonna happen. Here's the timeline.
Yep.
June 27th to be published. Wait. A little unclear what this means. Publishing goods and services, June 27th, to be published July 4th. I found,
Okay, translate that the first notice would appear, goods and services is a required location that we have to advertise. It's with the Secretary of State's office. It would mean, which means I have to get the notice to the Secretary of State by the 27th of June. Then there's also a local advertising requirement, which would appear in the July 7th edition of Hometown Weekly.
right, that's what it says, July 7th, then proposals due back July 28th.
Yep.
Committee reviews back August 5th. Interview with bidders August 10th. And possibly August 15th.
Yeah. That was a very aggressive timeline
Right.
with the understanding that if the board was looking to execute something before Evelyn retires.
When's your last day?
My retirement date is September 1st. I'm not telling you when my last day is.
So, but there's no reason that that can't be extended out if that works better for the committee. And I can tell you, we can't shorten it. That's the type of a calendar I could have for you.
We have the RFP.
Yeah, she sent a draft.
I
right?
sent you drafts, yeah, Dave was working
Yeah,
on the
that-
legal.
I would
Language,
work
that's why
on
I
the
did it.
legal language and everything and update it based upon the input that I received from you all today.
I would suggest, I don't think we're gonna get it done before it was done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Done.
So therefore, I don't think we should rush it, because I think doing it in the summer is gonna be difficult.
Yeah, we like to do it right, recognizing.
I
Also,
recognize that.
also, this gives firms only really a few weeks to put it together, which in the middle of summer vacation. So I don't, that's probably not a great way to do it.
Yeah, a greater lead time for the firms would be better.
Right.
I don't think summer really affects them. you're never gonna turn away an opportunity to get a new customer, so. So folks are working
Yeah.
on that, but giving them more time to prepare their presentation.
They need 3 or 4 weeks to complete an RFP of this complex.
Well, that's actually what was in here, but. I guess I would think we want to work backward from,
When would you like a
Do the
new,
interviews.
when would you like well, more important, when would you like a new agreement to be in place? And then we work backwards from that.
I don't care about that. I think it's more important that we maybe do the interviews in September.
Yeah.
So I think that's better for us.
Say
It's
October
better-
31st, November 30th, either one of those two.
To answer your question, I mean, there's not like a physical project here or any urgent need, you know, we're to replace the manager, so there's not, it's hard to say a date that by which we need a new manager.
So from that standpoint, what days are good? Let's assume 2 days for interviews that you have to tie up in your calendar. What are 2 good days for you all to meet? And again, again, the interviews themselves would be done by Zoom. That's to the advantage of the bidders than yourself, because unless the roles change, you would have to be here anyways.
Right. I guess I would propose maybe that we do the reviews in mid-September.
Between the 12th and the 23rd, which is a Monday through the following Friday,
Right. That gives us almost 2 weeks to
to the review.
go through everything.
Is that just the review of the RFPs or the
Yeah.
interviews? Just
The
the review of
reviews.
the RFPs.
And that you all can do on your own anyways.
Right.
Read through them and your notes. The
Right.
key is from your notes is when you would use those notes to rely on for the questioning of the bidder.
So I like the dates you said for our reviews. And then we could plan to set up the interviews like a week or 2 later. I
So what
guess.
was your review date?
Monday, September 12th through Friday, September 23rd. And interviews, I would say would be Monday, October 3rd, through Friday, October 14th.
Monday, well, Tuesdays.
Then you have board.
Yeah, from door, so basically the 4th and the 5th.
So we
are
could say,
probably out.
oh, is the 5th also part of Yom Kippur?
The 5th is the,
It begins at
Yeah.
sundown to sundown.
on the 4th, sundown on the 4th.
All right, so then we could say the 6th
Yep.
through the 14th. And we'll have one Columbus Day in the middle of that. So it still will give us 6 days.
No, I actually have to tell bidders in the document that's released when the bid days are, again, for fairness to the
You're
bidders.
talking about for interview?
Interviews, correct, yeah. So looking at your schedules,
Why don't we say, it's October 6th, what day is that?
that's a
That's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
So why don't we say October 6th to the,
14th.
It's gonna be 2 days.
Oh, I'm saying it is 2 days.
Two
I mean,
specific
this
days.
is the thing you actually have to say, we will interview bidders in this order, October 6th, between 1 and 5 PM. And bidders on Friday, October 7th.
so we have to say specific dates.
Yes, and then the order of, the order will be determined. I would suggest that it's the order. I do the reach out based upon the order that we receive the proposals. So, and then there would be blocks of time that the first bidder can choose from, and the second bidder, third bidder.
So do we want to do October 6th? And then it looks like you allow for a second day of interviews in here.
That's what I do, because you, to your point, you don't know how many bidders you're gonna
Right.
have.
So we're
So,
gonna get about 15.
right,
So we gotta be-
so you want to do October 6th and then October 13th
It's fine.
as a second day possible?
Okay, and so October 6th with a backup day of October 13th.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. And what would you say, 1 to 7? Because you're also gonna block up your calendar too,
Um,
Can we end it by 6?
whatever you,
Yeah, 1 to 6.
1 to 6, okay.
We're gonna be 20-minute interviews is gonna be max.
But you're not gonna fit that in.
And does that work on the 13th as well?
Yeah.
1 to 6, okay, so 20-minute sessions. So with that, so to review them on the 12th of, starting the 12th of October, that tells me that the due date for the proposals will be the 8th of September. And they would, I would be able to submit the proposals to you all electronically, or do you want them hard copy? Which do
Do
you
you want a hard
That's fine.
copy or electronic copy of the?
Doesn't matter to me.
I'm okay with electronic.
Okay, so I'll say that the technical proposal must be provided to me on a thumb drive, so I can then push it out to all of you.
Okay.
So, so the proposals will be due on Thursday, the 8th at 11 a.m. So going backwards from that, the last day for written questions, which usually I can answer them, but if there's a question that would be unique to the board, I would need to be able to reach out to
Yes.
you all.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all available.
So I would say the deadline for written questions would be August 18th. So I would have a release date of the bid package to be, might as well, since we have that time, there's no reason to crunch it in there at 4th of July. I would target the release of the bid package to be July 14th. So that gives bidders a month to analyze the RFP and gives them a month to prepare any questions they may have of us, to which we would respond back, to which gives them yet another 2.5 weeks to digest that and put and submit their bid proposals. So, so the release date will be July 14th. I will, and this can be done because I would not be submitting it to the committees. My draft, it's the RFP that I'm releasing, but I'd appreciate your independent comments about the RFP sent directly to me. You can't do a round robin, talk to one another, because that's a violation of the open meeting law. So I would send them to you for your individual comments that you would send to me for me to revise the RFP. And then the key is I'm the one actually putting out the RFP, because only the chief procurement officer can do that. So there's absolutely nothing wrong or inappropriate of you conversing with me independently. And since you've already went through the document before, we're more so just updating and the scope of services. Everything else of the RFP, the legal timing and all that, now that you've told me the times that you're available. That's all legal and pro forma. There's nothing really to comment on that.
Not that this matters, but I will be on vacation the week of August 7th to the 13th. And we'll be incommunicado. I'm not going that far away, but I don't bring anything with me. Sydney
I'm
incommunicado.
smiling because I'm away for maybe 9 days, almost as soon as you get back. I think I'm leaving on the 16th or something like that.
Okay.
Well, the most important thing is you're all here.
I think you want Mickey Mouse.
On the
to do
12th.
your RFPs.
So, when, trying to find one. Do you know when you sent that RFP?
What is that?
Okay.
I'm gonna send it again to you all.
So you sent an RFP and I sent you some possible.
Right, and I said those, I believe I
So
sent
those
those on to
incorporated?
Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
If not, I'll make sure that he has them, but I'm pretty sure I did.
And again, I'll be sending it back out to you all one more time.
Okay.
So we on.
Good to go.
So I just took a quick look. Basically, it says include comparative benchmarks and note if results are gross or net of fees.
Net of fee, you put net of fee?
Well, right now, it basically allows for either gross or net to be
Oh,
sent in. So do we want to change it to say one or the other?
What do you think, Dan?
I mean,
He likes grossing fees, so. See, I'm not too concerned about it because if we, as long as we have the favored nations status in there, we're not gonna, we don't have to worry about people coming in with crazy fees. We're not gonna come in with crazy fees.
I know, but it
it's
just makes
easier
it,
to see it net of fees. You know, on the one hand, it's not quite apples to apples. On the other hand, if you assume that people are putting their best foot forward, then it is essentially apples.
right. I think
So
I
I'm
would
okay,
say
I'm
net,
okay. on that basis.
to use net.
Yeah.
Okay. So David will change it to net.
Yep.
That's good.
Left to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working. on
Multitasking a little bit.
And we've all gotten the third quarter trust fund reports, right?
mhm. At market.
At market, which is wonderful.
Your
No, it's not.
legacy.
It's at market
I know,
here.
it's your legacy.
Yeah, right, look at the loss on the, like, my
Look,
legacy.
look what we did.
My legacy.
We
right
told her
here,
we
look what
wanted
did.
market. She finally did it. And she's like, I've had it, I'm done.
And you're gonna sign the, you're gonna sign the invoices?
You have to
Yeah.
sign the-
Yeah,
You can do that.
Joe, I think you missed the stamp this, didn't sign it.
This has to be complete. So this is the big one that's separate
Yes,
from Tim. The information is on the second page.
and this has to be signed also. Read it. Here's another one for you, Dan.
$9,000 plus install.
It was 180 last year. Good work. And before I ask for an adjournment, I would like the record to show that the commissioners recognize the outstanding service to the Commission of Trust Funds by Treasurer Evie Punes, making our workload efficient and meaningful throughout our service to the community, which in my case has been since 2006. And I will give you the wording, and you can put that in the minutes, please.
Thank you. Thank you all. No,
Thank you.
it's
Second
been a good ride. It's been a good ride. but It's been.
Oh, that's right. I have to make this a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion. You can't make a motion, Joe, sorry. No further discussion.
So,
No, it's been 43 years, just about 43 years, so it's time. It's time for me, Vermont, for the younger generation to come in with new ideas and not argue about putting things to market value when I want to keep them at book.
I think you might be right, Hayden, maybe it is my fault.
I'm teasing. I mean, the auditors have been recommending that for a long time. But no, I just appreciate everything you guys have done, the annual Christmas dinners and the cakes. Next time we celebrate, I might come in as a resident to see you guys, but just thank you guys for everything. So who knows, I might run.
for Commissioner, excellent,
Yeah,
great.
whenever they go to 4, because I don't want, I will never win. No, you're kidding.
This is probably not
The
last.
tax collector, whatever. The tax collector.
Should we meet in the summer when they first start to come in, when they start to roll in?
I was thinking about that, so, but we really won't have anything do you send them as they come in, or do you?
Oh,
just-
no, it's a package.
Okay. So we-
Again, everything, it's
So we can't
about
see anything.
keeping it fair and equal
We
for
can't see
everybody.
anything until September 8th.
September 8th, all right.
That's the due date.
September 8th is the due date,
Okay.
and then I would distribute them, so during the weekend, because it's electronic, you'll get them that day.
Yeah.
And basically, you'll have 2 weeks to read through them on your own.
All right, so let's look for a date sometime in September. September 19th is a Monday. And 21st is a Wednesday. Any thoughts, anybody?
With Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, you're past that.
Yeah,
Rosh
yeah.
Hashanah is the 25th,
Okay.
which is the Sunday after the 23rd, Friday.
It's a leap year, Hayden.
Oh,
Everything's late.
I think either date for me is okay. Can you say the dates again one more time?
21st is a Wednesday. Today's a Thursday. Oh, why does your schedule look good? Yeah. That's far out.
First is fine, and what was the other one?
Thursday is the 22nd and Wednesday is the 21st.
Looks fine.
So you prefer the Wednesdays?
Doesn't matter to me.
All right, let's put down Wednesday, the 21st. Just so we have
For 4:30, right?
4:30.
I'll get that posted for you and get a Zoom session all set up.
And now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn, or we're gonna look at these balances. Is there anything?
I did send them to you electronically, it might have been too small, but that's why I made it bigger, because I do have a smaller version, but they're virtually impossible to read, so. But this is, it is what it is, I hate to say that phrase, but, we did have a
That's what I like
significant
about the market value.
significant loss. It's marking it to market, and it's also been done through the accounting. And
And
They
I,
can't do that.
just based on what's gone on, you know, a lot has gone on in the markets, even in the last month, but I still don't think that, you know, it necessitates any real changes to our investment policy statement.
This manager is very good on down markets. That's fine.
Because they're value oriented.
Well, not only that,
Somewhat.
there's the methodology is such that they're not overweight in any crazy place where all the damage has been done. So I'm very comfortable with it.
In that case, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I wasn't favor say aye.
Aye.
Now incidentally, we have asked that every